Welcome to Media Ji. This is your host Umar Tariq. Assalamu alaikum everyone. So continuing with our resilience series, हम लोग ना खास तौर पे we as boys think के हमारे काफ़ी ज़्यादा challenges होते हैं, struggles होती हैं, परेशानी होती हैं इस पूरे USMLE के process में. लेकिन I personally feel कि ये जो challenges, stressors हम face करते हैं ना, इससे कहीं ज़्यादा ये challenges और struggles होते हैं females के लिए, जो lady doctors. और अगर हम देखें एक परसेंटेज प्रोफेशनल सक्सेस रेट जो है वो अनफॉर्चुनेटली वेरी अनफॉर्चुनेटली फीमेल्स का रिलेटिवली कम है मेल्स के मुकाबले में. एंड आई थिंक अबाउट इट कि व्हाई इज दैट, कि क्या वो कम होती हैं हमसे, उन्हें आता नहीं होता? नहीं, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं है. हम खुद जानते हैं कि मेडिकल स्कूल में सारों के नंबर हमसे ज़्यादा आते हैं, एफएससी में ज़्यादा आ रहे होते हैं, लड़के ज़्यादा सप्ली लेते हैं, बहुत से इश्यूज होते हैं. तो वजह क्या है? एमबीबीएस के फौरन बाद क्या होता है? व्हाट चेंजेस? तो आई थिंक अबाउट इट एंड आई learned that things are very challenging for females in general, especially after MBBS. और उसकी क्या वजह है? उसकी बहुत बड़ी वजह ये है, which is again very unfortunate, कि females in general are judged a lot more, and this happens globally and as well as specifically हमारे culture में. कभी कपड़ों पर, कभी प्रोफेशन पर, कभी फैमिली पर, कभी बच्चों पर, और we as a culture are very guilty of that. All of this adds a lot of pressure on the females कि घर को टाइम दो, फैमिली को टाइम दो, प्रोफेशन को टाइम दो, कपड़ों को देखो और 10 चीजों को देखो. दे आर वेरी वल्नरेबल और हम लोग अंदाजा नहीं करते. इट्स वेरी इजी फॉर अस टू पास रिमार्क्स, जजमेंट्स, और वी डोंट रियलाइज कि द स्ट्रगल्स our female colleagues are going through. Or I personally feel that all the working physician moms, all the moms are super mommies. लेकिन जितनी भी physician mommies हैं, they're all super mommies. और मुझे खास तौर पे I think it's kind of fitting कि बहुत मुश्किल. मैंने बहुत सारे ख़वातीन से, लड़कियों से I reached out to them कि please एक इंटरव्यू करते हैं आपके. तो a lot of them didn't agree, और काफ़ी जो agree हुई थी, they backed out at the last moment. And I think it's probably for the same reason. It's not very easy to make yourself vulnerable, to put yourself in a position that people can judge you. And it takes a lot of courage to come forward and share your story, share your struggles, your failures, making yourself vulnerable, just with the hope कि आपकी जो juniors हैं और जो आपके आगे आने वाली लड़कियां हैं उससे सीखें, हिम्मत लें, or they don't do the same mistakes that they did. And on that note, my next guest is Dr. Faiza Khalid. Faiza, I think when I'm thinking about it, first time me and Faiza met were, I was the president of SPWS Patient Welfare Society in 2005, 2006, and she was a first year student and she was joining. और उसके बाद she became very active. When I was in SPWS, इनका group था Faiza, Amber और Faria Shahab, right? So they did a lot of good work for the poor patients. और उस वक्त तो मतलब we kind of lost touch after that, and then we intermittently stayed in touch जब ये residency fellowship वगैरह का process चल रहा था. और अब lately माशाल्लाह she's such a successful, super achieving doctor in US. So अस्सलाम वालेकुम Faiza, कैसी हैं आप?
I'm good. How are you? Walaikum salam. Thank you for that elaborate introduction.
नहीं, देखो, it is unfortunate, लेकिन मुश्किल होती है. We can deny that, लेकिन my wife is a female physician, and I noticed कि especially having a family, kids, चीजें काफी ज़्यादा मुश्किल होती हैं female physicians के लिए. और देखो, जैसा मैंने बताया कि not a lot of female physicians were comfortable coming forward, and I hope कि a lot of them would get the courage to come and interview, ताकि जूनियर लड़कियों को गाइडेंस मिले. वो कहती है हमारे पास है ही नहीं, उमर भाई कोई फीमेल लेके आए तो बड़ा मुश्किल है. एंड आई कमेंड यू फॉर डूइंग दैट, फॉर कमिंग फॉरवर्ड फॉर दिस इंटरव्यू. तो अपने बारे में बताओ फैजा थोड़ा, जिन लोगों को नहीं पता.
So I'm originally from Multan. I started in 2005. I started KE. I graduated in 2011. After final year, I came here for electives. At that time, I gave CS as well. Uske baad, in August, I went back. I started my house job. I wouldn't.
Sorry to interrupt you. When did you graduate?
So 2011. Because it was in the early part of 2011, basically.
ठीक है.
So
और
my
electives
batch
कब
is
किए?
electives मैंने किए थे. My first one was in March.
और कहाँ पे था?
It was at Johns Hopkins. It was a 2-month elective.
Research elective था.
Yeah, it was a research elective. And then I did a clinical observership. Basically, it was an elective, but then I didn't realize you have to, and that's like I would suggest like my poor prep, because I didn't know you have to be a medical student to get an elective. So it ended up being an observership, because by the time I started it in May, I had already graduated.
अच्छा अच्छा सही.
क्योंकि उस टाइम रिजल्ट आ गया था.
अच्छा ठीक है. और उसके बाद फिर क्या किया?
उसके बाद I went back in August. उस थोड़ा सा unclear था कि I was actually hoping कि I can just stay home and prepare for USMLE. So I had already taken CS. तो मेरा प्लान था कि 2011 के एंड पे और beginning of 2012 I'll take step 1. उसके बाद I'll take like 4-5 months I'll take step 2 and then I'll apply. लेकिन और मेरा इतना कोई प्लान नहीं था हाउस जॉब करने का, लेकिन माय पेरेंट्स वर रियली स्केयर्ड. मेरी फैमिली में आई डोंट हैव एनी फिजिशियंस. आई एम द फर्स्ट वन, let alone anybody who actually was planning on taking USMLEs. I still don't know how my father let me come here for electives, but he did, which was nice of him. लेकिन उसमें uncertainty काफ़ी थी, क्योंकि what he was hearing from other people or his friends, especially for females, के match तो मिलता नहीं है, तो मतलब एक तो ये दो मतलब I'll waste 1.5-2 years not doing house job. उसके बाद फिर मेरा match, like it was presumed कि I'm not gonna match. And then I'll have to like start from the scratch, like I'll have to do house job. So we did the compromise ke fine, I'll do the house job and then I'll prepare for USMLEs along with it, which I wouldn't recommend because it's a big commitment, and that was the worst time of my life because it was a lot of stress on me. Chalo, like whatever happened. That's fine. So it's just, yeah. उसके बाद फिर ये कि I applied in 2012. I was able to take, I think step 1 I took it in January 2012. और उसके बाद then I took my step 2 in June.
अच्छा जबरदस्त. तो कौन सी हाउस जॉब किस में थी?
No, I did the house job. मैंने सर्जरी में नहीं की थी. उस मेरा बैच वो वाला था जब उन्होंने मैंडेटरी कर दिया था कि you have to do a medicine and subspecialty of medicine, like 3 months in each. So I did actually 3 months in medicine. 3 months I did in child psychiatry. So I started off with child psychiatry. And then I did house job in medicine. Medicine में मैंने steps देने के बाद की थी.
सही सही. तो रिस्टार्ट कब की थी हाउस जॉब? अगस्त में. और साथ साथ हाउस जॉब टाइम मिल जाता था पढ़ने का?
As I said, I started in psychiatry.
हाँ तो
Then
थोड़ा सा
थोड़ा सा मिल जाता था. I started in child psychiatry. लेकिन उसमें फिर ये था कि I think KE had made that a rule कि you have to do 3 months in each subspecialty. बाकी जो like PMDC वाले medical colleges थे, निश्तर में इस तरह का rule नहीं था. So I actually went back to Multan and I did 6 months in ENT.
अच्छा सही है.
So I was unpaid, but that was fine.
हाँ सही है. मतलब you needed your house job का मिल गया ना certificate. That's all you needed.
That's all I needed.
If you don't mind me asking, step 1 में और CK में कितने scores थे?
So I mean they weren't super high, like high 230s. I think एक में like it was 138 and the other one was sorry not 138 sorry 238 and 239.
अच्छा नहीं, that's pretty decent. That's not a bad score. और खास तौर पे हाउस जॉब के साथ करना, मेरे दोनों में scores बहुत कम थे इससे. You know, मेरे 220 और 213 थे. तो मतलब that's a big achievement कि हाउस जॉब में इतना स्कोर लेना, और मैं घर बैठ के पढ़ रहा था.
Yeah, but as I said, it's just a lot of stress on you. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. And that was the time because I was officially graduated, so there was like a pressure to we have to find a rishta and like you have to get married too. So it was just a lot of things happening.
सही सही। तो फिर उसके बाद CS पहले कर लिया था, ये सब हो गया, फिर इसके बाद क्या हुआ? CK दे दिया?
फिर I took CK, और दूसरा ये कि I took them very fast, which I wouldn't recommend either. I didn't personally feel कि मेरी तैयारी हुई भी थी.
Honestly,
But
I have a difference in opinion in that, with due respect. You know, I recommend कि देखो, you were able to get both of them done in a year, right?
yeah.
सोचो कि 2 साल लगा लेती, साल ज्यादा लगा देती, 1.5 साल ज्यादा लगा देती, स्कोर 250 से 260 में आ जाते. Would it have
But
been
I
worth
wouldn't.
it looking back?
That's a good question, because I think the biggest thing in my resume was I was such a fresh graduate.
हाँ,
I
तो वही ना.
I had just graduated
Exactly.
in 2011.
हाँ.
और क्योंकि I applied in 2012. मेरे साथ थोड़ा hand ये हुआ था कि when I applied, the day we were supposed to like apply, I actually was hospitalized. I had severe gastroenteritis, so I was in a hospital for like a week.
I'm so sorry. पाकिस्तान में?
हाँ.
अच्छा.
So like I developed renal failure because of hypovolemia. But by the time I came home, it took me I was already like 3 weeks behind everyone.
I'm so sorry. मुझे बिल्कुल नहीं पता था. ये
Yeah.
2012 की बात है. Late 2012. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry to hear that.
Anyways, so I applied, and I think I didn't get that many interview calls. I think 4-5 interview calls the maximum.
ठीक है.
I'm not sure if it was because like the timeline or what. दूसरा ये कि I didn't I'm a kind of person who doesn't reach out very well. That's something I would actually recommend whoever is applying to talk to somebody who has gone through the process. Show them your resume. कि उसको arrange किस तरह करना है. I know Eras में तो there's not much arrangement, but at least you can word it better.
हाँ, गाइडेंस लो. आई थिंक फीमेल्स के लिए इन जनरल थोड़ा सा होता है ना कि यू डोंट फील वेरी कंफर्टेबल, क्योंकि हमारे कल्चर में पाकिस्तान से आते हुए इट्स नॉट वेरी इजी टू रीच आउट टू रैंडम पीपल, रैंडम स्ट्रेंजर्स कि जी हमें गाइड करें, एंड यू आर थिंकिंग कोई दूसरा बंदा हमारे बारे में, यू आई होप दे डोंट थिंक अबाउट इट इन अनदर weird manner, तो you are a little uncomfortable. लेकिन that's what I would suggest कि देखो अमेरिका में ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, you know, you can always reach out to people, and people in general are very helpful. तो अपने alumni से अगर ठीक है, अगर आप if you're not comfortable reaching out to guys, reach out to females, you know. गाइडेंस जरूर लो, ये ना करो कि be a lone wolf और अपने तौर पे सारा कुछ अप्लाई कर दो.
Yeah, I 100% agree. That was something because I applied for fellowship too, and there was like a difference of night and day. जो मैंने residency के लिए resume बनाई भी थी, और
I think
fellowship
we
के लिए.
talked for the fellowship, right?
Yeah.
अच्छा, तो फिर go ahead, आगे फिर बताओ.
And then I came here for interviews. जब मैं interviews दे रही थी, I took step 3.
अच्छा. That was very smart.
Yeah, because I had talked about which visa should I apply for, or which one is better. So everybody suggested if you can get an H1, get an H1. So I took step 3 उसके बाद so that I can apply for H1.
ठीक है.
And then luckily in March I matched.
और कहाँ मैच हुआ था?
So I matched at UPMC McKeesport.
चलो सही, माशाल्लाह. मैं भी UPMC में काम कर रहा हूँ.
I know.
राइट, और आप वहाँ से माशाल्लाह ग्रेजुएट हुई हो. अच्छा, तो फिर 2013 में रेजिडेंसी स्टार्ट हो गई, राइट? जून में. और यू ग्रेजुएटेड इन व्हाट 2016. शादी कब हुई?
So I got married when I was an intern in 2014.
अच्छा, ठीक है. 2014 में शादी हो गई, ठीक है. और उसके बाद क्या हुआ फिर 2016 के बाद?
So 2016 में I graduated क्योंकि Aves, my husband, who's you know him as well.
Sure.
So he
हम अवैस का भी इंटरव्यू करेंगे इंशाल्लाह. उसको मैंने पहले मैसेज भेजा था. अच्छा.
So he did psychiatry. So he started a year after me. So he started his residency in 2014. After we got married.
आप लोगों की मंगनी पहले हुई थी ना? मंगनी आप
लोगों की? Yeah, we got engaged, I think, जब मैं elective से वापस आई थी in 2011. That's when we got engaged.
So अगर if you don't mind me asking, pressure कहाँ से था? आपके घर वालों की तरफ से था या वैस की साइड से था कि शादी जल्दी करनी है?
It was my parents.
अच्छा
I'll be
अच्छा,
honest.
दैट इज सरप्राइजिंग, क्योंकि ये हमेशा मैंने देखा है, मतलब हमारी दफा भी ये होता था कि लड़की के घर वाले जो होते हैं ना, वो बहुत शादी कब होगी, शादी कब होगी। और आई थिंक खासतौर पे प्रोफेशनल्स के लिए दैट इज अ बिग कंसर्न, कि आपको ये देखना पड़ता है कि घर वालों की सुननी। उनकी सबसे बड़ी वरी ये नहीं है कि हमारी बेटी डॉक्टर बन के सेट हो जाए, उनकी होती है बच्ची की शादी हो जाए, अपने घर सेट हो जाए।
But I mean, I can understand their point of view as well. असल में मसला ये है कि पाकिस्तान में everybody is like that.
हम्म,
So it's not like they're doing something out of the ordinary. Actually, the
एग्जैक्टली,
out of the ordinary part was that they let me come here. I'm taking these steps. They're not
हाँ,
like I'm not getting married. Like everybody around me is getting married. So actually, it's a lot of
एग्जैक्टली,
pressure on them as well. Um,
हाँ, आई
so
कंप्लीटली एग्री विद दैट।
तो उसमें ये कि that's why I'm saying it was like a very difficult period, house job, steps, and then the pressure to get married.
सही। तो फिर शादी हो गई, और हाउ वाज द इंटर्नशिप? डू यू थिंक बिकॉज इंटर्नशिप में शादी नहीं हुई थी, रिलेटिवली एंड में हुई थी?
Actually, that was a good thing.
हाँ, वही मैं कह रहा हूँ, राइट, क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि बहुत मुश्किल होता है टू बी मैरिड,
Right.
हैव अ फैमिली, और साथ साथ खास तौर पे अगर आप दोनों डॉक्टर्स हो, या ना, अगर एक मैंने देखा है खास तौर पे जो फीमेल्स हैं, अगर उनके स्पाउस कोई सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर है, घर से काम कर रहा है, या कोई रिलेटिवली और लेड बैक जॉब कर रहा है, तो उनको बहुत हेल्प और
Mm.
सपोर्ट होती है। लेकिन अगर दूसरा डॉक्टर है, उसकी लाइफ उससे भी ज्यादा स्ट्रेसफुल है, तो दे कैंट हेल्प यू इन दैट वे। तो फिर जब शादी हुई, देन व्हाट हैपेंड कि यू वर इन पिट्सबर्ग, और
Then
अवैस कहाँ गया?
Aves, actually, it was a good thing कि मेरा already match हुआ था. So when
हम्म,
Aves applied, he ranked it accordingly.
ठीक है,
So he actually interviewed it in Pittsburgh too. He ranked it first, or for Cleveland because it was 2.5 hours away. He ranked the Cleveland programs as second and third, Cleveland Clinic
ठीक
and
है,
UH University Hospitals. फिर ये कि West का match he matched in University Hospitals,
सही,
which is the teaching hospital of case. फिर after that brought in like new challenges as well. I think day-to-day life was easier because like I was here and Aves was in Cleveland. So we were both doing our residencies. Like we were driving back and forth on weekends.
हर वीकेंड पे जाना, वो लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस, दैट हैज इट्स ओन
It,
सेट ऑफ इश्यूज। हर वीकेंड पे आना जाना, फिर आप मंडे को आते हो, आप या तो मंडे की सुबह आए होते हो, या संडे की रात को, तो आप
रात
ऐसे ही
को
थके होते हो।
तो उसकी but the thing was like once you get in the groove, I think the week itself was not bad.
ठीक है,
Like there's nobody you have to. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I still don't cook, but there's no pressure on you in like cooking or अगर कोई चीज काम नहीं भी हुआ तो that's okay. If you're tired, that's fine.
हाँ, यू राइट, सही है। अच्छा, तो फिर उसके बाद यू फिनिश रेजिडेंसी H1B पे,
Yeah,
ठीक है,
and then
उसके
I
बाद क्या हुआ?
actually I joined university hospitals as an attending
हम्म,
for 2 years. मेरा plan था. I mean, I liked Pomcret when I was a resident.
हम्म,
So my if I was going to do a fellowship, it was going to be Pomcret. Dusra, if I'm not doing, I wasn't very keen on outpatient medicine.
अच्छा, सही,
So it was either like be a hospitalist or if I'm doing a fellowship, it was going to be Pomcret.
सही, सही,
फिर and the minimum contract they were offering me was at least for 2 years.
सही है, और उसके बाद ग्रीन कार्ड स्पॉन्सर करेंगे।
So the good thing about University Hospital was they you they actually started the process for green card even before I started at UH.
अच्छा, दैट्स प्रीटी नाइस।
As soon as you sign the contract, they can actually start the process.
ठीक है,
तो उसकी वजह से I got the green card in 2017 April, I believe.
दैट्स प्रीटी गुड, क्योंकि स्टार्ट जो था वो 2016 जुलाई में किया था, राइट?
नहीं, I signed the contract in April. So that's when they started the process.
अच्छा, जॉब का स्टार्ट का वेट भी नहीं किया हुआ।
नहीं. So
हाँ,
you
दैट वाज
don't
वेरी
need
नाइस।
to actually, yeah, you don't actually need to start the job. You just need to have a contract. Okay, your employer will
विलिंग टू
sponsor
डू
you.
इट, लेकिन पता है क्या, मैं काफी और लोगों से बात होती रहती है, और ये जो ज्यादातर हॉस्पिटल्स हैं वो इनिशिएट ही नहीं करते जब तक आप 6 महीने साल काम न कर लो।
Yeah, I've heard that. I
हाँ, तो ये,
think yeah, that's not an uncommon practice.
हाँ, तो
Hospitals
दैट्स
do
प्रीटी
that.
गुड दैट यू वर एबल टू गेट दैट डन। तो
Yeah.
फिर ग्रीन कार्ड कब आया?
I think it was in April or May 2017.
अच्छा, तो अभी ट्रेंडिंग अभी पहले साल में ही आ गया. वेरी नाइस. मैं 2-3 और लोगों को जानता हूँ, 3 और लोगों को जिनका पहले साल में ग्रीन कार्ड आया है एज अटेंडिंग. बाकी सब 2-2 3-3 साल लगे रहते हैं.
Oh,
तो
interesting.
फिर उसके बाद फेलोशिप के लिए कब अप्लाई किया?
Actually, I did apply into 2017. I didn't match the
ठीक है.
first time.
अच्छा.
I'm still trying to find out the reason. Maybe um, I applied to a very limited programs, and they were probably very high tier. I did get interviews, but I didn't match the first year. तो उसके बाद फिर my research mentor at university hospitals, he actually talked to he was like, what are you interested in any subspecialty related to Pulm Crit? I was going to do sleep medicine after Pulm Crit.
सही है.
So he actually talked to the sleep medicine program director at university hospitals.
अच्छा.
So they had some extra funds, and like after talking to him, they were able to actually take me in as a sleep medicine fellow.
अच्छा.
So instead of like working another year for as a hospice, I actually started sleep medicine fellowship.
And university hospital was okay with that?
Yeah.
तो मेरा ख्याल था मतलब they gave you the contract for 2 years to work as a hospitalist, but they were okay with you.
No. So I worked from 2016 till 2018. And then क्योंकि मैंने 2017 में apply किया था ना for 2018 match.
सही है. तो फिर 1 साल की sleep medicine fellowship.
So sleep medicine is a 1-year fellowship.
हाँ, ठीक है. फिर then you applied for critical care.
Then applied for critical care, Pulm Crit again, but this time I applied broadly.
Sorry to interrupt you there. मुझे ये जल्दी से बताना ताकि देखो बहुत से लोगों को नहीं पता होता. तो when you say कि you applied widely, broadly, तो कितने programs में किया था और पहले कितने में किया था?
So I think the first time I only applied to like 25-30 programs.
ठीक है.
जब मैंने second time किया था, I applied to 70-80 programs.
ठीक है. चलो, thanks
like
for sharing
almost
that.
Like doubled the number of programs I was applying to.
I think that was extremely smart of you. और अगर मुझसे पूछो in retrospect, I think that was the number one reason that you didn't match the first time. वरना मैं अब सबको ये कहता हूँ कि देखो अगर बहुत competitive specialty में जा रहे हो ना, cardiology, gastroenterology, critical care, आपकी residency की जो भी है, IR is very competitive for radiology, जिसमें भी अगर cardiology से आप interventional cardiology में जा रहे हो, तो you need to apply very widely, unless आपकी बहुत सारी research publications हैं, you are a big name in your specialty, जिस माशाल्लाह वैसे है, तो उस तरह की situation में when you apply, you can be limited. लेकिन if you are a regular candidate, you can take the chances, क्योंकि आपको नहीं पता कि कौन सा low tier है और high tier है.
Yeah, and I agree. I think क्योंकि things happened for me right after one after another when I was a जब मैं medical college में थी, residency भी फौरन मिल गई, and then green card भी जल्दी मिल गया. So that actually just I was like, okay, fellowship भी मिल जाएगी.
नहीं, कोई नहीं, अच्छा बात है. देखो, you learned something, right? आपकी जो नाकामियां होती हैं वो भी आपको सिखा के जाती हैं. Sleep medicine, I'm sure you learned something from that. और तो you were gonna say something about AWS. Sorry, I interrupted you there, but I thought that was pretty important information.
I was saying कि उस time पे फिर AWS was going to look for waiver too, because AWS is actually on J1.
ठीक है.
तो क्योंकि AWS ने residency Cleveland से की हुई थी, so we knew people, and then it was easier to get waiver in Ohio.
सही है.
तो टाइम का फिर भी थोड़ा मसला था, क्योंकि मेरा obviously it's not a guarantee कि मुझे Cleveland में मैच मिल जाएगा. The only thing I could do is like rank Cleveland programs higher. लेकिन the good thing about sleep medicine कि a lot of Pulm Crit attendings also have sleep medicine. So you get to it's like a popular combination among
जिस तरह GI वाले मेरे ख्याल है hepatology से होके जाते हैं.
Hepatology करते हैं और like cardiology does like interventional cardiology or heart failure.
हाँ, बिल्कुल वो करके आगे जाते हैं.
So I got to work with a lot of Pulm Crit attendings. तो उसकी वजह से ये कि I knew them and they knew me. So that helped with the match.
सही है. So when did you start your fellowship?
So I started my fellowship in 2019.
कहाँ पे?
So I'm at Metro. That's the other hospital with the Case Western.
सही है. Or you graduate this year, right?
No, it's a 3-year fellowship. So I graduate.
Achha, you're doing the full Pulm critical care. You're not doing just critical care only.
No. I'm doing full Pulm crit.
So that will be 2022.
2022. So I am a second-year fellow now. I have another year of fellowship.
चलो माशाल्लाह, very nice, very nice. तो मुझे ये बताओ कि what do you think helped you the most? एक चीज अगर if you have to single out to get the fellowship.
To get the fellowship, I think reaching out to people and to the attendings. That goes back to the fact that Pakistan mein, like girls are usually introverts. They're like shy. बहुत ज़्यादा बात भी नहीं करती. यहाँ पे ये कि क्योंकि I was going to focus more on Cleveland. So I tried to like reach out to as many people as I could. Okay, I'm interested. My husband is looking for waivers here, or he will be like most likely he'll be getting a waiver here. So I have family reasons. और दूसरा ये कि I was also expecting at that time. So it would have been very hard to like move with a newborn.
तो फिर मुझे बताओ, when did you have your kid?
So I actually had Arish in May of 2019, just before I was going to start my fellowship. That's ideal time.
हाँ वही पता है, मैंने ना अपनी सर्जरी की इंटर्नशिप शुरू की थी ना, तो मेरी बेटी आमना 3 दिन की थी, और वो 3 दिन की आमना को मैं कैलिफोर्निया से छोड़ के कनेटिकट आया था, और वो बहुत मुश्किल था. और उसके बाद मैंने महीना 1.5 महीना उसे देखा नहीं था. फिर मेरी बैक सर्जरी हुई, तो आई डिडंट लिफ्ट हर फॉर 6 months. इट वाज वेरी टफ. एंड आई एम श्योर यू जो पहला साल पर्म क्रिटिकल केयर फेलोशिप कर रही हो, और हाउ डिड यू डील विद ऑल दैट?
It was hard. लेकिन ये था कि 2 months तो मेरे पेरेंट्स they were here to help me out. दूसरा, my program director was nice enough कि he actually didn't give me ICU like right off the bat. So I started ICU even after starting the fellowship. I started it a month late.
ठीक है.
क्योंकि मसला ये था कि I only took 4 weeks of maternity leave. I didn't take more than that. क्योंकि sleep medicine का मसला ये था because it's only 1 year long. जो भी time you're taking off, you have to make up for it.
So you had to make up for those 4 weeks.
So that's why I started my Pulm Crit fellowship in August instead of July.
You know, it's unfortunate. बहुत ज़्यादा हम लोग पाकिस्तान से आते हैं और हमें लगता है कि यूएस में बड़ा इजी होगा, लोग बड़े अंडरस्टैंडिंग होंगे, मैटरनिटी लीव ऐसे मिल जाएगी. It happened with my wife too. जो उसने जो टाइम ऑफ लिया था, they made her do all that. और इसी तरह it's very rare कि आप जो maternity time off लोगे वो आपको वापस नहीं करना पड़ेगा. They will extend your training. They will make sure कि you do it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the hospital policy or GME. I
think it is illegal, by the way. Do you know that?
Okay, they made me do
extra, huh?
I didn't know that.
It's an FMLA law कि अगर आपने किसी भी जगह पे 12 महीने काम कर लिया ना, तो you were in university hospital for 3 years, right? तो the law ये है कि अगर आप किसी भी जगह पे 12 महीने काम कर लेते हो ना, तो उसके बाद you are entitled to full maternity leave या कोई भी अगर आपकी disease हो, and you are not supposed to give it back. लेकिन जो unfortunately जो training programs हैं, they get away with it because they use the excuse कि इस बंदे की training पूरी सही नहीं हुई.
Oh, okay. Because I was eligible for full 3 months. I had been with university hospitals, but it's just like, अगर मैं 3 months off लेती, तो I would have to make it up.
हाँ, वही ना, exactly. तो सही. तो you think reaching out to people help you the most? So what do you think? What advice would you give to residents जो इस वक्त residency कर रहे हैं और Pulm critical care में जाना चाहते हैं? Let's say अगर कोई intern आपका interview सुन रहा है, what would you tell them? How can they make sure they can get into Pulm critical care or any fellowship?
So, from my experience, I think I think it's you have to do everything right. Like I think I had publications, I had good LORs. So I didn't even take the sooner you apply for fellowship out of residency, the better. लेकिन मैंने बहुत ज़्यादा time off तो नहीं लिया था. I've seen people like match in fellowship after like 5 years out of residency. Taken the sooner you apply, the better.
How about applying during? Sorry, go ahead.
फिर दूसरा ये कि apply broadly. That's what
अच्छा
I
हाँ
would
सही.
say from my experience. दूसरा ये कि don't be afraid to reach out. Like even if you are interested in a program, you can request an elective there in that department. And if you work hard there, I don't think so. They expect you to know everything. They just want to make sure you're not a slacker, basically. Like you'll work hard because you have the internship to learn. Nobody expects you to know everything.
एग्जैक्टली आई कंप्लीटली एग्री क्योंकि मुझे यही लगता है कि ये इन जनरल यूएस में यही होता है कि बंदा काम चोर तो नहीं है, इज ये स्लैकर, ये चीज वेरीफाई हो जाए और वो हार्ड वर्कर है, ये दो चीजें वेरीफाई वो कर लेना, तो उसके बाद वो ये देखना चाहते हैं कि बंदे को हम सिखा सकते हैं, अगर हम इस पर मेहनत करेंगे तो ये बंदा खुद मेहनत करेगा कि नहीं करेगा. तो आई कैन नॉट एग्री मोर. और दूसरी जो चीज मैंने ये पूछने लगा था कि डू यू थिंक यू कुड हैव अप्लाइड ड्यूरिंग रेजिडेंसी, or that was the issue because of your visa you couldn't do it because H1 पे fellowship apply करना मुश्किल होता है?
I think that was the reason. मैंने 2-3 लोगों से पूछा था, they didn't have good experience when they were applying on H1. दूसरा ये कि उस टाइम मेरी publications भी बहुत ज़्यादा तो नहीं थी. Most of them were in process. So I think like for Indians, I know that it takes a long time to get the green card. So for me, they were like, oh, like you probably will get it sooner. You won't have to wait for like years and years to get green card. So why don't you get the green card and then you'll be able to apply to more programs.
Oh, I cannot agree more. I absolutely agree with that. कि जितने भी लोग H1 पे ना, मेरी सबको यही गाइडेंस होती है कि 1-2 साल करो, जल्दी से ग्रीन कार्ड लो और फेलोशिप अप्लाई करो. और दूसरा ये काम करो कि ड्यूरिंग रेजिडेंसी और इवन एज अ हॉस्पिटलिस्ट जब भी अटेंडिंग बन जाओ, जल्दी से ज्यादा प्रेजेंटेशंस, एब्स्ट्रैक्ट्स, पेपर्स करो. मेरा ये पर्सनल ख्याल है कि सबसे ज्यादा वो चीज हेल्प करती है आपको फेलोशिप के लिए, रेजिडेंसी के लिए भी, लेकिन फेलोशिप के लिए दैट इज द नंबर वन थिंग दैट स्टैंड्स आउट. वुड यू एग्री?
I do. And I think as जैसे जैसे ज़्यादा time होता जा रहा है, most of the people have posters. Like posters, so I think residency में it's like it's a part and parcel of the residency. Like you have to have posters. But in terms of like publications, I would recommend like after your intern year, if the sooner you can make your mind कि मैंने इस specialty में जाना, you can focus on that. That क्योंकि मैंने I think second year के end पे जाके मैंने plan किया था कि like okay I'm gonna do Pulm credit. फिर जो मेरे electives थे like in advanced lung disease और transplant ICU, वो फिर मैंने third year में request किए थे.
पता है मैं जूनियर्स को क्या, इट्स प्रॉब्ली एन ओवरकिल, लेकिन मैं ये रिकमेंड करता हूँ कि आप मेडिकल स्कूल में डिसाइड करो किस में जाना है, उसी में इलेक्टिव्स करो, उसी में कॉन्टेक्ट्स बनाओ और उसी में बिफोर रेजिडेंसी पब्लिकेशंस करो ताकि आपको रेजिडेंसी में हेल्प हो. और देन इफ यू कैन अप्लाई ड्यूरिंग रेजिडेंसी फॉर द फेलोशिप, नहीं मिलती तो 1-2 साल ग्रीन कार्ड लेके फिर उसमें अप्लाई करो. लेकिन यू डोंट हैव टू वेस्ट टाइम बिकॉज आई थिंक इट इज मच ईजियर to do research before residency as a young student as compared to after becoming a hospitalist, because you have a family, you have to give time to your family, your kids, right?
I agree. I mean, I did research after residency too, but it was much easier to do a project because I did research elective when I was
at Hopkins.
at Hopkins. So it was much easier you can like commit more time. Uske baad, like the older you get, I think things change. Things happen. Responsibilities बढ़ जाती हैं and different things happen. So I think you can commit more time when you're a medical student. I agree.
तो मुझे ये बताओ, अभी now you're working full time as a fellow, Avas is doing his waiver job, तो who's watching the kid?
He goes to daycare.
सही है, ठीक है.
He goes to daycare. Like luckily, Avas ki waiver job, it's actually a good waiver job. He doesn't have any weekends. So and he doesn't do nights. So his schedule is more predictable too. He has predictable hours. I think he has to spend about 8.5 hours or 9 hours, something like that. So if he goes late, he just stays late.
अच्छा, that's pretty nice.
So yeah.
तो मुझे ये बताओ कि did you witness any lack of opportunities or any special challenges as a female throughout this process?
I don't think so. There are. I mean, the lack of opportunities are man-made.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more societal than anything. I
Or
don't think
cultural
so.
barriers in Pakistan that you bring with
Exactly.
you when you come
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. So I think it's because of that. Opportunities ka ye ke there are opportunities. You just have to find them. पाकिस्तान में फीमेल्स के लिए मसला ये है कि इट ऑल्सो डिपेंड्स ऑन केई में तो आई थिंक लोग देते हैं यूएसएमएलई सो देयर इज मोर गाइडेंस मैंने अपनी हाउस जॉब की थी जो 6 मंथ्स मैंने ईएनटी में की थी so that actually people over there females तो देती नहीं I think I don't or at least I don't know personally if somebody female took USMLE ज़्यादातर males ही देते और because I didn't study there I didn't know anybody so there is no like network इतना extensive नहीं है
होना चाहिए और स्पेशली फीमेल्स का बिकॉज़
female हाँ
तो हाउ who guided you for USMLEs या खुद ही किया था सारा कुछ
like nobody I wish I had better guidance I wish I had better guidance और दूसरा
you
ये
knew about my website though right website को तो देख रही थी ना कि वो उसका भी नहीं पता
about
था
the US I didn't know that
you didn't know about my website like हम लोग
I didn't know I didn't
मैं 2008 में वो बनाई थी काफी जूनियर्स को पता था चलो I'm surprised लेकिन वो यही था कि that is another thing I tell everyone कि reach out to people talk to people don't live in a bubble don't be a lone wolf
I 100% agree and that's one thing I would if I go back I'll change about myself because I really was in a bubble like तो मैं लाहौर में भी नहीं थी I was in Multan and I didn't know about like any resources that are available
सही and that makes it very challenging तो अब moving on मुझे ये बताओ कि अब देखो we are personally, me and my wife, we are a physician couple. You are and Wes are physician. जो physician couples होते हैं ना, उनके लिए मुझे लगता है extra set of challenges होते हैं. क्योंकि वो डबल मैच कर रहे होते हैं आपको मेक श्योर करना है कि आप एक ही जगह हो या क्लोज विसिनिटी में हो आप कभी आप कपल मैच करो वो सही है नहीं एक बंदा अटेंडिंग बन जाए दूसरा फिर रेजिडेंसी अप्लाई करे दोनों रेजिडेंसी करो एक के बाद दूसरा करे हाउ डू यू जगल ऑल दिस इंटायर प्रोसेस is I think ये नहीं होता कि डबल टफ होता है I think वो 11 times हो जाता है एक और एक 11 you know it gets way more challenging when you're a physician couple तो did you guys face
if you have kids that just makes it even more challenging
और मुश्किल तो what were the challenges you and Avas faced as a physician couple
I think सबसे बड़ा मसला तो यही था कि अवैस की वेवर एक ही उधर ही हो जाए जहाँ मेरा मैच है लेकिन उसमें ये था कि like I could predict कि okay I have higher chances of matching here but you can't say for 100% so I think you just have to make a calculated decision कि अच्छा यहाँ पे I think I'm able to match because I know people here or whatever तो उसकी वजह से दूसरा ये कि we've been living here for a while in Cleveland तो उसमें ये था कि it was easy transition
of course
especially
लेकिन at the same time you guys lived separate 2-3 साल वो भी तो था ना टाइम
वो that was hard and I think by third year I was like so fed up क्योंकि एक तो especially coming from Pakistan like I'm not used to driving in snow I still hate driving in snow that was another challenge और दूसरा मेरा ये था कि मैं I didn't know how to drive before coming here the first time I drove I remember it was in snow in Pittsburgh and I thought I'm gonna die
तो ऐसे देखो see this is another thing that brings me to कि यार please अगर कोई पेरेंट्स हैं या अगर आप अभी एमबीबीएस कर रही हो तो पाकिस्तान में ड्राइविंग सीख लो खुदा का वास्ता मेरी वाइफ भी उसकी सेम स्टोरी थी शी डिडंट नो ड्राइविंग तो पाकिस्तान में यूएसएमडी कर रही हो अमेरिका आके सर्वाइव करना है रेजिडेंसी करनी है गाड़ी चलाना सीखो ताकि कम से कम इधर बेसिक गाड़ी और उसके बाद इधर आके बर्फ में चलानी है यू नो देयर आर लॉट ऑफ स्ट्रगल्स और आपको नहीं पता कि आपका हस्बैंड जो है वो आपके साथ एक ही स्टेट में या एक ही सिटी में होगा हो सकता है आपको कि वो नाइट कॉल पे और आपको इमरजेंसी कहीं जाना पड़ गया तो ये बहुत जरूरी है पता नहीं पाकिस्तान में इट इज सो अनफॉर्चुनेट कि इतनी ज्यादा लड़कियों को हैंडीकैप या खुद हुई है या फैमिली ने किया हुआ है कि गाड़ी नहीं चलानी
असल में I mean I don't think so कि it's family मना करती है ऐसा में मसला ये कि if like I actually drove a little bit before coming here ताकि थोड़ी सी practice हो जाए like I think I drove for a month असल में मसला ये unfortunately if like I am driving I feel like people will scare me more कि like गाड़ी सामने ले आए कि like I am female which is not fortunate
लेकिन होता है ना ये reality भी तो है
so like they'll like annoy me more या irritate me more than like a male
हाँ,
who's
लेकिन फिर
driving.
ये
तो
है ना कि you have to get over it, right? अभी अमेरिका आके जब first time, you don't want to drive your first time, shouldn't be driving in
in
Pittsburgh in snow.
snow. तो उसकी वजह से ये कि थोड़े से पेरेंट्स भी डर जाते हैं कि ओ अगर एक्सीडेंट हो गया तो लाइक व्हाट विल वी डू. तो आई थिंक इट्स मोर ऑफ अ सेफ्टी इशू देन एनीथिंग. लेकिन ये कि गिवन माय एग्जांपल, माय सिस्टर लाइक शी इज इन निश्तर, शी नोज हाउ टू ड्राइव
चलो, very good.
because I
ठीक है.
told them कि she needs to know how to drive.
चलो, मतलब see, this is what exactly what it is. You learned it and you were able to help your sister. Now you are sharing this, and hopefully जो लड़कियां ये सुन रही हैं, they will understand the importance of it and hopefully do it. That's the whole point of doing all this.
Yeah, और दूसरा ये कि you don't know where you're gonna match. हर जगह public transport system इतना extensive नहीं होता, so you have to drive.
You're right. You're right. तो सही, what advice would you give जो अभी कोई physician couple है, residency के लिए apply कर रहे हैं या final year में engagement हो गई है and they're planning to do USMLEs, what is your advice to them? What's the best way to make sure कि दोनों का match हो गया?
I think planning ahead and talking to each other is very important. It's I mean I feel like mostly इस तरह से है कि depending on the specialty, क्योंकि I think IM is more competitive than psychiatry. तो उसमें ये कि और दूसरा ये था कि मैंने और अवैस ने इकट्ठा नहीं अप्लाई किया था. I had actually matched before अवैस, so he knew कि अच्छा this is the region I have to focus on. तो डिपेंडिंग ऑन योर लाइक एक तो कहाँ से इंटरव्यू कॉल्स आ रही हैं और दूसरा ये कि जब रैंक लिस्ट बनाने लगे हैं तो देख के आई थिंक फ्रॉम द इंटरव्यू यू कैन गेट अन आइडिया कि like what are my odds of matching here.
What I would
Even
add
if it's
to that,
not even if it's not in the same city, if it's close by, that's very helpful. Dusra, I know but those were like American graduates. I don't know if it's true for IMGs as well. Like yeah, जो residents थे, they were AMGs and they were applying for fellowship. Like one was applying for cardiology, the other one was applying for GI. So अगर एक को interview call आती थी, तो the other one would like email the department कि hey, my wife got an interview call. I would appreciate if you can review my resume.
बिल्कुल ये भी होता है. और दूसरा जो बंदा इंटरव्यू करने गया है ना, वो नहीं कह सकता है कि देखो भाई, आई वुड ओनली कम इफ यू गाइज कैन गिव अ जॉब टू माय स्पाउस, तो प्लीज रीच आउट टू योर अदर डिपार्टमेंट टू सी इफ दे कैन कंसिडर हर. और I've seen people get a lot of interviews this way. लेकिन मैं ऐड ये करना चाहता हूँ कि जो मेरा ख्याल है ना, फिजिशियन, everything you said I agree with that. लेकिन to add to that, बहुत से लोग कपल मैच में थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं. कपल मैच करता है काम, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि नहीं करता, लेकिन व्हाट आई हैव सीन इज कि खास तौर पे आईएमजीज के लिए बहुत टफ होता है. मैंने बहुत कम ऐसे जैसे आईएमजी. और दूसरा ये कि एक तो वैसे ही हमारा मैच होना मुश्किल है. दूसरा ये कि until unless you're both superstars, होता ये कि जो एक बंदा जिसको अच्छी जगह रेजिडेंसी मिलनी थी उसको भी नहीं मिल रही होती, क्योंकि वो दोनों को रखना पड़ा है. अगर एक का बहुत अच्छा है, दूसरा, और जितना डिफरेंस होगा दोनों डिफरेंट स्पेशलिटीज में, तो और कॉम्प्लिकेटेड हो जाता है. तो व्हाट आई डू रिकमेंड टू एवरीवन, एंड इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ जेंडर के लड़का या लड़की, बट एक बंदा पहले पकड़ ले, जिस तरह आपने किया है, जिस तरह मैंने किया है, जिस तरह बहुत सारे और लोग हैं, और दूसरा स्पाउस अगले साल, उसके 1 साल बाद, 2 साल बाद, जो भी है उसको, बिकॉज दैट वे यू नो कि हमने कहाँ जाना है.
दूसरा ये कि that way I can also reach out to the other department, or I can talk to my program director. Like obviously you get some time to build some rapport. I don't think so Pakistan mein, if you were that ambitious I want to do USMLEs, like you are hardworking. If you were if you didn't want to do anything, you wouldn't be like taking all these steps. So I think here as far as I have come across, like all the Pakistanis are very hardworking. The programs are generally happy with them and they'll help you out if you ask them.
And that in general I think is true for all the immigrants. हम लोग बड़ा रगड़ा खा के आते हैं, चाहे जो भी हो, पाकिस्तानी, चाइनीज, इंडियन, बंगाली, जितने भी लोग हैं, वो बेचारे सारी मेहनती होते हैं. वो कहते हैं हमें अब्यूज कर लो, मिस यूज कर लो, हमसे जितनी मर्जी ड्यूटी करा लो, बस काम कर लो, रेजिडेंसी करवा लो, फेलोशिप करा लो, हमें पे ये दे दो कि ट्रेनिंग हो गई है पूरी. और we end up actually, unfortunately, what I notice is कि tolerate a lot of crap जो कि बाकी अमेरिकन ग्रेड शायद
नहीं करते.
हाँ,
that's true.
मुझे ये बताओ कि अब 2011 में ग्रेजुएट हुआ, राइट? तो 2010 में फाइनल ईयर के एग्जाम दिए थे, राइट? और उसके बाद इलेक्टिव्स करने 2011 में आई। अब यू हैड योर बेबी, इतना मतलब बच्चे को छोड़ के जाना डे केयर, आई नो इट्स वेरी टफ बिकॉज आई हैव डन दैट। आप अपने बच्चे को सुबह छोड़ के जाते हो, बच्चा रो रहा होता है, फिर आप पिक करते हो थके हारे, फिर आप वापस आते हो, तो आपको होता है कि मैं टाइम सारा बच्चे के साथ स्पेंड करूं रेदर देन स्टडीइंग, और फिर बच्चे को सुलाने के बाद यू स्टडी ऑल दैट। आई हैव डन इट, आई हैव सीन इट। लेकिन दिस एंटायर जर्नी, राइट, दो कितने 11 साल हो गए सिंस टेकिंग द फाइनल ईयर एग्जाम, looking back, do you think it was all worth it?
It was. I think थोड़ा सा ये कि you feel personally guilty कि मैं बच्चे को छोड़ के जा रही हूँ और सारा कुछ. But I think you're doing it for them. Like I can provide for him a much better life than I think I would have been. दूसरा ये कि I think it makes you a better person too. Like I don't think so the skills I've acquired over time, अगर मैं ना इस process से गुजरती, I wouldn't have been able to do that. The other thing is, I think Pakistan में assertive training होनी चाहिए females के लिए, बहुत ज़रूरी है. I think it makes them better moms too, because like I feel females are even scared to ask for something. You know what I mean? Like they're always so shy and introvert. Okay, they don't ask for, and you set example for your kids. If you are like timid and not standing up for yourself, the kids are not going to do that.
Dusa, it's funny and interesting that you said that. I think last time we spoke in person, Istra, at least in person, not over Zoom, has been more than like it's been like 13 years or 14 years, right? The Faiza of that time and the Faiza today, it's completely different, right?
Different.
You're way more confident, eye contact, even I am different, right? Lekin I think that is very important. चाहे आप लड़का हो लड़की हो, if you're shy, if you're introvert, if you're scared of talking to people, reaching out, तो फिर आप कहीं नहीं पहुंच सकते, फिर आप वहीं तक रह
सकते. That's true. And I think of like if I can tell people a take-home point from all of this, it's this: like please, I think every one of us can do whatever an American graduate can do. I think as like you said, we're hardworking, and we don't shy away from like hard work. It's just a matter of reaching out for help. If you don't know anything, it's always better to ask.
You're right. एक बात मैं आपके लिए कहूँगा, पता क्या, you might feel guilty a little bit, जब बच्चे को डे केयर में ड्रॉप करती हो and all that. So I have a lot of family here or physicians और ये वो ना, तो जब मैं स्टूडेंट था, मैं इधर आया था, तो I stayed with some of my cousins, और उनका तब 2 साल का बच्चा था, तो वो जब भी उसे छोड़ते थे बहुत रोता था, सुबह खास तौर पे. और मुझे अब आज भी याद है वो ना, जब हम जाते थे ना उसे डे केयर छोड़ के, क्योंकि जो मेरी कजन है उन्होंने जाना होता था रेजिडेंसी करने अपने, तो वो आता था बाहर बैकयार्ड में भाग के और फेंस पे खड़ा हो जाता था ऐसे, नो डोंट गो, इस तरह रो रो के, और उनकी आंखों में आंसू होते थे. और मैंने अपने बच्चे को जिंदगी में कभी डे केयर नहीं भेजना, और ये वो ना. नाउ 15 years have passed, ठीक है, उसको याद भी नहीं है कुछ. उसकी अम्मी आज भी याद करके रोती है, हाय मैं इसको रेजिडेंसी में छोड़ के अच्छा, नो आई डोंट रिमेम्बर, आई विल ट्राई फॉर. मैं कहा यार कितने थे, तो बच्चों को तो याद ही नहीं रहना ना. लाइक बच्चों को मेमोरीज बनना शुरू होती हैं जब वो 6-7 साल के. उससे पहले कि तो मेरी अपनी बच्ची, उसे कुछ याद ही नहीं होता कि जब वो 2 साल की थी क्या हुआ, 3 साल की क्या हुआ. तो डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट, वो सब कुछ हो जाएगा.
Yeah, I mean, because ये आरिश जब 3 महीने का था, he started going to daycare. So I think he got used to it. It's still challenging कि एक तो मसला ये कि पहले साल में they get sick a lot. तो उसमें ये कि finding like somebody to watch him, या फिर खुद छुट्टी लेना, like if I'm on research week, like messaging my program director कि I couldn't find childcare or I have to stay home, or I can work. They were. I mean, the only
programs नहीं होते. I will tell you that.
That's one thing I actually like about my program. Like they focus a lot on your wellness, but still, it's a lot of ICU and everything. Like if let's say it's an emergency, they'll help you out.
अच्छा, good.
तो
And
उसमें ये कि लेकिन फिर भी ये तो खुद को गिल्टी फील होता है कि लाइक आई एम डूइंग ऑल ऑफ दिस, मैं अपने बच्चे के लिए केयर नहीं प्रोवाइड कर सकती. And the other thing is like I mean I shouldn't, my mother-in-law visits for a few months every year. So I mean and I feel like even if my mother was visiting, she probably would not say it out loud, like oh, why did you choose this fellowship? Like you could have done something easier. But I'm just saying like, would you have said that to your son or like a boy? But that's something I wanted to do. I think careers are important for both of us.
you know, you're right. You touched a very important topic. लेकिन मैं एक बात बताऊं उसमें क्या है? And I've seen it a lot. देखो, a lot of people talk to me, right? Because of the website और ये वो. जो नहीं करती ना, उनकी भी होती है. लो डॉक्टर पढ़ के गवा दिया, और यकीन मानो ज्यादा होती है उनके साथ. जो भी है, उनके अपने घर वाले कह रहे होते हैं. सबसे ज्यादा तो उनके अपने घर वाले कहते हैं, बेटा हमारी बेटी ने, हमारे ख्वाहिश थी डॉक्टर बनेगी, आगे करेगी, उसने पढ़ के गवा दिया, अब कर क्या रही है, घर बैठी है, खाना पका रही है. नॉट देयर इज एनीथिंग रॉन्ग विद इट, बट वो एक पेरेंट्स की अपनी बहुत बड़ा रिग्रेट होता है. और ऊपर से
I agree with that. I think at that time I know my parents were like not fully on board with the USMLE idea just because it was new. I guess they didn't know like like somebody can actually make it. Like I think now they're very supportive of my younger sister just because okay it can happen if you work hard, if you plan it well. Like I don't think so it's my parents why aren't you working is just the field. Like I could have done endocrinology or something like I'm not against endocrinology, but it's just something I didn't want to do.
लेकिन एक ये भी है कि आप जो भी करते हो ना इन जनरल, वही मैंने बात भी स्टार्ट इस पूरे वीडियो को इसी से की है, लड़कियों के लिए मुश्किल होता है क्योंकि उन्हें जज किया जाता है. वो घर बैठेंगी उस पे भी इशू होगा सबको, सारी दुनिया को. नॉट अबाउट पेरेंट्स और इन लॉज, एनी रिलेशनशिप, सारी दुनिया का. आपके फ्रेंड्स, आपके घर बैठी है, डॉक्टर पढ़ के गवा दिया. जो बेचारी ट्रेनिंग कर रही है, इतनी मुश्किल प्रेसिडेंसी पढ़ने की क्या जरूरत थी, right? We are always full of comments and opinions, especially about females. Which is pretty, and that is why makes it more challenging for them.
Actually, that's a very good point, because I know Avais was like, he's very smart and everything, but he's like, I'm not doing anything besides psychiatry. And he didn't get any resistance. Like me, no matter what I do, I get a lot of like resistance. Okay, like ye kyun nahi kiya? Ye kar lena chahiye tha. But I think it's just part of life.
Or why you have to pick the easy way out? What if you don't want to do it? If you want to not do it, that's fine. That's your choice, right? Like, and what if it's not your choice? It shouldn't be just because you're a female or a mom that you should find the easy way out, right? Or दूसरी course, and this is for you, कि देखो, I have a lot of immense respect for all the women who are at home MBBS करके बच्चों को देखना. There's nothing wrong with it. लेकिन it should be their own choice, not somebody else's choice.
I agree.
What I want to add is कि वो बेचारी, and not that I'm giving any opinion, but I've seen कि some kids saying, आप जब teenagers बन जाते हैं, 15-16 साल के हो जाते हैं, कि मम्मी आपने MBBS किया हुआ था, सारा पढ़ के गवा दिया. वो सारी मेरी classmates कहती हैं कि you know their mommy is a doctor, and I wanted to say my mommy is a doctor too, but I can't say that. और जब ये teenage में आती है phase, लेकिन जब वो बड़े होते हैं ना, तब उल्टी फेज होती है. फ्रॉम प्री स्कूल टू like I will say 5th grade बच्चे ये कहते हैं, why my mommy is not a stay at home mom. Like I've seen it so much. मेरी अपनी बच्ची यार वो, मैंने कहा तुम ये क्यों नहीं कहती कि why your daddy is not a stay at home dad, you know? Because जो females उनके लिए बहुत, आपके अपने बच्चे आपको कोसते हैं.
I agree. I mean, I know he's not going to remember it. Like, in फिर भी, I'm just saying that, like, you do feel guilty and people don't help with it. Like, they make you feel more guilty. It's like, you don't have to tell me, I already feel very guilty.
That is true. You know, कि आपको पता है ना अंदर कितना मुश्किल है. अब as a man आपको जाके एक tough fellowship करना शायद आसान है, क्योंकि the expectation is कि आपने काम करना है. लेकिन as a female is tough, क्योंकि आपने 2 कश्तियों में सवार होके जाना है. घर भी देखना है, बच्चे भी देखने हैं, खाना भी बनाना है, you know, all that stuff, and you're thinking कि मेरा बच्चा ठीक होगा कि नहीं होगा. अब इस पे एक और मैं छोटी सी, मतलब it shouldn't be more about me, but like I want to tell this to you कि मेरा जो experience है ना, I say this, हमारे बच्चे जो है ना, वो जो गोरी टीचर्स है ना उन्हीं के हाथ से सही होते हैं. हम लोग 100 दफा मैनर्स सिखाते रहे, बेटा सॉरी बोलना है, थैंक यू बोलना है, जो है ना खाना जाया नहीं छोड़ना, इस तरह की छोटी छोटी बातें होती हैं, मैनर्स वो नहीं आते. डे केयर में जाते हैं 3 महीने 1 महीने में सारे मैनर्स. सॉरी मॉमी है, ये बच्चा मेरा ही है, मुझे सॉरी कह रहा है. तो वो मेरा एक्सपीरियंस बहुत अच्छा था कि जब तक मुझे चूंकि मेरे कजन के बच्चे देखे थे तो मैं डरता था. मैंने कहा डे केयर में बच्चे रोते हैं, ये होता है. मैं अपनी बच्ची बेची तो वो ज्यादा फन करती थी और वो कहती थी अब मैंने घर नहीं रहना, because they have activities and there are other kids, right? They do a lot more.
No, yeah, I'm actually the other thing is like for female residents or fellows, I actually looked at a lot of daycares when I was in just first trimester, because first of all जो अच्छे वाले होते हैं उनकी बहुत लंबी waiting list होती है. So that's something like you should look into, because if you're gonna be busy, if you can make things or plan things and make it easier on yourself, it's gonna make your training much easier. Like I met with the pediatrician before, like he all like he, in first trimester like this is gonna be his pediatrician, this is the daycare I like, even though like it's not close to our house, it's actually close to where Avess works. But that was the one like I felt comfortable sending my child, क्योंकि एक तो उसने जाना भी like we were going to start it when he was 3 months. तो उसके लिए ये था कि I think you can do these little things and they go a long way.
हाँ, I agree. और मैं what I would add to that कि backup जरूर रखो. I understand you should have a daycare, लेकिन कोई नैनी या कोई ऐसी बंदी जो कोई you should have a backup, क्योंकि बच्चा बीमार हो गया है, स्कूल में कुछ हो गया है, कोविड एक्सपोजर हो गया है, कुछ भी, तो आपको अपना बच्चा, और स्नो हो गई है, स्नो में तो ऐसे ही बंद कर देते हैं ना कि स्नो है, तो you should have a backup. और ये काफी frequently होता है, बोलते हैं कि साल में 8 से 10 दफा होता है कि आपको बच्चा अपना उठाना पड़ जाता है.
I agree. Yeah, it's still challenging. Backup childcare, it's very challenging. क्योंकि एक तो like we have actually 3 or 4 people as our backups. लेकिन कभी-कभार वो भी available नहीं होते.
It's very tough.
But there are like there are websites that have like reliable childcare. They charge, you can. It's actually one is like ondemandcare.com too.
On demand care, okay.
It's ondecare.com. So you just put in your like region or zip code, and they'll show you whoever is available. They're all like background check, CPR certified. They'll charge you more, but that's fine.
Webcam में लगाया?
Yeah.
अच्छा, हाँ, that's very important. हमने भी लगाया था, लेकिन एक दिन हमारे साथ ऐसे हुआ था, हमने इस तरह किसी को हायर किया था, तो उसने मुझे कहा मैं काम पे नहीं आ सकती, तो आज मैं बीमार हूँ, मैं हॉस्पिटल में वीडी में. मैंने कहा ठीक है. तो मैं रोटेशन पे था, मैं नाम नहीं ले रहा किसी का, it's not a HIPAA violation, I'm just telling without sharing any name. तो उसकी एक स्टडी मेरे पास पढ़ने आ गई और उस पर लिखा था सुसाइड अटेम्प्ट. मैंने कहा ये मेरी बच्ची क्या ख्याल रखती है. तो उसको मैंने उसको I didn't tell her anything क्योंकि she was worried about losing her job. तो मैंने उसको ऐसा कहा कि नहीं, हमें तुम्हारी अभी जरूरत नहीं है, महीने बाद 2 महीने बाद. लेकिन just be very careful. आपको नहीं पता जो आपने बच्ची, जो भी खातून या जो भी बंदी रखी है, make sure कि you know everything about them.
Yeah.
तो चलो मुझे quickly जिन लोगों को नहीं पता, how much do you spend on daycare, if you don't mind me asking?
Sure. I think जो अभी where he goes, it's full time, and it's about $1,300 per month.
That is why I asked, because लोगों को लगता है कि इतनी $300-400 में नहीं, एक बच्चे का you pay anywhere between $1,000 to $1,500 at a daycare, and I think it is.
And that's and then we provide lunch. They only provide snacks, and we also have a nanny who comes on the weekends, like for 5-6 hours. Like if like we need grocery shopping, because weekday pe like you don't get any time. तो बाकी जो grocery shopping है, खाना वगैरह बनाना या whatever pending chores, वो सारे weekend पे करने होते हैं, तो just to make sure like there's somebody to watch him.
Grocery ना Instacart से कर लिया करो, घर पे ला देंगे सारा कुछ जो चाहिए.
Yeah, I mean, I think in COVID, I have never tried it. तो फिर मुझे like maybe I should like give it a trial first and see कि किस तरह से.
तो नेक्स्ट मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि लुकिंग बैक, व्हाट डू यू थिंक वाज वन थिंग दैट हेल्प्ड यू द मोस्ट इन योर एंटायर जर्नी?
Perseverance. I think
सही.
so. I think that's the because there were like a lot of times when I said like I'm not doing it.
No.
Like it's too much. It's too much stress. Um, but I mean, yeah, I think perseverance. You
What I
have to
say
be
is,
stubborn. I think for females, you have to be more stubborn.
oh, I agree. And I say that the 3 P's and the one are patience, perseverance, persistence, and the
And
resilience.
resilience.
So, acha, now on the same note, okay, what do you think hindered you the most for this journey?
I think once I got here, whatever obstacles I had, they were under my control. Like I could overcome them. I think most hindrance I had was in Pakistan,
Family की
which
तरफ
was
से और culture
which
की वजह
was
से.
more like cultural and societal. दूसरा ये कि, to be honest, USMLEs are not cheap. So that's one point like people don't discuss, and I think in general I feel like if it's people have an easier time spending on their sons, especially for their like if it's expensive, something expensive, like for girls they're like, oh ye wale paise jo hain we could just keep them for their wedding. You know what I mean?
वही दहेज पे लगाएं और फिर यूएसएमएलई पे भी
Like
लगाएं.
we're लगाएं exactly, or दूसरा ये कि like we can have like a grand wedding instead of like spending all this money on the exam. But I mean I think independence is much more valuable than having a grand wedding.
बहुत अच्छी बात की, because you know we went through exactly that. और हमारा भी दोनों तरफ से यही हुआ था कि भाई ठीक है, उस वक्त आपको जब सपोर्ट की जरूरत होती है, if your parents can support you for your USMLE fee, और उसमें आपके इलेक्टिव्स के पैसे, और वो सारा बहुत महंगा प्रोसेस है, राइट? मैंने उस पे एक
It's very
फाइनेंस की
expensive.
पूरा मैंने उस पे वीडियो की है, द व्यूअर्स यू कैन वॉच इट टू लर्न मोर अबाउट के फाइनेंसेस जो हैं. तो अगर आपको इतने पैसे लगाने और आप नहीं अफोर्ड कर सकते, तो पेरेंट्स से रिक्वेस्ट करो कि भाई शादी मैं संभाल लूंगा, या शादी हम बड़ी छोटी सी कर लेंगे, कोई जहेज ना दीजिएगा, वो भी मैं खुद कर लूंगी, यू नो ऑल दैट स्टफ. लेकिन ये काम मैं करना चाहता हूँ, प्लीज हेल्प मी आउट विद दिस.
Yeah.
So next, I just want to quickly touch upon it. We already discussed it. Did you have any low scores or attempt in USMLE? You didn't, right?
No, I didn't have any attempt.
Yeah.
No.
Or the next one is ke visa issues, which I think you were pretty smart in that sense. Ke you didn't do a J1 job. You did an H1 visa residency, और उसके बाद you got green card 1 to 2 years after that. मुझे अवैस का बताओ. तो अवैस did a J1 residency. Now he's doing a J1 waiver, right? 3 साल का waiver है.
Yes.
तो फिर 4th year उसका green card file करेंगे, right?
Yes. So he actually started a waiver in the same year when I started my fellowship. But he started in September. मैंने अपनी August में start की थी. Fellowship. He started his waiver in September. So we'll actually finish around the same time. Like I'll be done with my roughly around the same time.
So just to add to this, देखो मतलब I periodically Facebook पे I get posts and I see Abbas, mashallah, he has achieved a lot in research and overall in his profession. Do you guys know about EB1 visa? Okay, he can apply for EB1 visa even on a waiver.
Yeah, he I had talked to him about it, and I'm sure like he has much more. क्योंकि मैं J1 पे नहीं थी, I actually don't know about a lot of nuances of J1. He does. I'm sure he is aware of it. He for like EB, is EB1 faster than like if I sponsor him?
नहीं, you cannot. क्योंकि देखो उसमें ये होता है ना कि as a green card holder, even if you were a citizen, मैं citizen हूँ इस वक्त, और मैं citizen बहुत पहले बन गया था, even before Rabia did her residency. तो even if you are a citizen, you cannot marry
unless he finishes his waiver. I can't. Yeah, I can't sponsor it.
You cannot.
But I'm
और
just
दूसरा अगर
saying
करोगी भी ना तो 3 से 4 साल लगेंगे जब तक सिटीजन नहीं बनती. सिटीजन बन जाओगी तो 1 साल लगेगा. As a green card holder, when you apply, वो it takes anywhere from 2 to 4 years. जो priority है वो green card holder के spouse की different होती है. Citizen can take 6 months to a year. The good thing is for him, अगर आप sponsor करती हो, even as a citizen or a green card holder, you not only do only I-130, which is the petition for alien relative, you do also I-485, which is the change of status.
Yeah.
वो he can continue working, he cannot go back to Pakistan. लेकिन ये होगा कि जब टाइम करंट आएगा 2 साल बाद, 4 साल बाद, या साल बाद अगर सिटीजन हो, तो वो डायरेक्ट आपको ग्रीन कार्ड उसको मिल जाएगा उसी वक्त, और ग्रीन कार्ड जब मिलेगा वो कंडीशनल होगा, 2 साल का होगा, और उसके बाद वो फॉरेन
and then they will switch it. They'll
हाँ
extend it, I
स्विच,
think.
वेल यू डोंट नीड टू एक्सटेंड इट, बिकॉज जो स्पाउस होता है ना यूएस सिटीजन का, उसकी इमिग्रेशन जल्दी होती है, हाफ टाइम लगता है।
Yeah, I know. It's just a little tricky. We have to discuss it more. Okay, like once he's done with his waiver, what would be the best course?
So he can, just an FYI, he can apply for EB1. मैंने उस पे वीडियो किया, I will send it to you afterwards.
Yeah, I think that would be very helpful.
हाँ, EB1A है कि जो बहुत ज़्यादा highly skilled professional है, तो which I think he is, और EB1B आता है कि जिस बंदे की बहुत ज़्यादा research accomplishments हैं। फर्क सिर्फ ये है कि जो ईबी वीजा है वो आप एज एन इंडिविजुअल अप्लाई कर रहे हो, लाइक ही वुड डू इट फॉर हिमसेल्फ, उसको उससे डिपार्टमेंट से कोई सपोर्ट नहीं मिलेगी। ही वुड लीड लेटर्स फ्रॉम अदर पीपल इन साइकेट्री सेइंग कि ही डिड पब्लिश अ लॉट, ही इज एन एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी प्रोफेशनल, और फिर आपको अपने जो वीजा इंटरव्यू पे बंदा आपके सामने बैठा है ना, उसको कन्विंस करना है कि यू आर एन एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी बंदा। EB visa is कि भाई you are an extraordinary professional or an, हाँ, तो वो जो कर लेते हैं ना, you can do that anytime. He can do that right now. He can do it at first year on a waiver job, second year on a waiver job. He can do it anytime.
Okay, actually that's very helpful to know. I didn't know that.
कोई बात नहीं, देखो at least कुछ फायदा हो रहा है, you know, reaching out to people.
I think I'll have a best talk to you.
Sure,
in
anytime.
detail. Yeah,
anytime. You have the number. अच्छा, तो moving on, मुझे ये बताओ, and I'm sorry for torturing you and asking this question again.
No, you're fine.
Okay, do you feel you are able to give enough time to your family, your kid, Awais?
I think it's relative. I mean, I think as of now, whatever time Arish needs, I'm able to. Like nothing is getting neglected. Again, I think after fellowship, you have more control over your schedule. Like at this point, if I didn't, like, especially when I'm in ICU, so I make sure that like I jo se following week hai ya like days following ICU, I have like enough time. I spend enough time with him because I feel like after a week, like he forgets who I am.
हाँ, वो होता है unfortunately हर जगह. You know, my perfect answer was, हम लोगों को बहुत लोग कहते थे कि आपकी बेटियां neglected बच्चे हैं क्योंकि आप दोनों residents हो, आप दोनों trainees हो, तो आपकी बच्चियां तो बस ऐसे ही पल रही हैं. मेरा आंसर ये होता था कि the quantity of time spent with the kids does not matter.
The quality is fine. That's what I'm saying. I don't think so. I make sure nothing is neglected.
हाँ, मैं उन्हें लेके जाता हूँ बाहर, सैरें कराता हूँ, उनके साथ स्विमिंग कर रहा हूँ, उनको हम लोग अम्यूजमेंट पार्क्स लेके जा रहे हैं, तो वी फॉर्म ऑल द गुड मेमोरीज, पार्क में खिला रहे हैं. यू नो, आप बैठे हो, आप सारा टाइम अपने टीवी पे बैठे हो, कंप्यूटर पे बैठे हो, बच्चा आपके साथ बैठा देख रहा है या वो आईपैड देख रहा है, तो आपकी तो पर्सनल बॉन्डिंग नहीं बनी ना अपने बच्चे से. You know, it's just you're sitting next to each other, you're not bonding with each other. The quality matters more.
I agree. And I think it depends on the age too. I think whatever activities you can do at each age, as long as like you're making sure, because I personally feel we seldom give iPad or iPhones to Arish. I've seen people do that, but I feel like he needs to have human contact and like just look over his phone and iPads.
I agree. जो थोड़ा टाइम माँ बाप के साथ है उसमें भी, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. वो बेचारे जो पूरा दिन गुजारते हैं कहते हैं let's have some peace of mind, बच्चे को आधे घंटे के लिए iPad पकड़ा दो. अच्छा, moving on, मुझे ये बताओ, did you have any financial limitations that restricted you?
Coming here? Yes. I think one of the reasons I actually did not apply for. I should take it back. I know people जो हैं वो clinical electives के लिए they apply to like Yale that cost like $3,000-4,000.
मैंने दिए थे.
You didn't, yeah, which is fine, but you could do it. But I mean, for somebody who's like just starting off, I couldn't bring it upon myself I asked my father for $3,000-4,000 for an elective. One of the reasons I actually picked the Johns Hopkins elective, even though it was a research elective, that it was only $300.
आई नो,
So
मैंने
it's not.
हॉपकिंस में भी किया था, हॉपकिंस में मैंने मेडिसिन का किया था और येल
Mhm.
में मैंने इमरजेंसी मेडिसिन किया था
I
और
did an emergency. The observership was actually an emergency. The elective was an emergency medicine that became observership because I had graduated. Lekin I had to like really filter ke kaun si wali jo hai, they're not like too outrageously expensive.
मैंने
Which
हार्वर्ड नहीं किया
may
था, नहीं येल वाज 2500 या 3000, हार्वर्ड मैंने नहीं किया था बिकॉज दैट वाज 4000. यू नो हाउ आई पुल्ड इट ऑफ?
no, did you like sell something?
मैंने वो भी किया था, वेबसाइट पे मुझे पैसे आ रहे थे ना, तो थोड़े बहुत मुझे उधर से
अच्छा.
आ रहे थे, लेकिन मैंने अम्मी अबू को कहा कि बस अब जिंदगी में $10,000 मुझे दे दें, क्योंकि वो मेरे इलेक्टिव्स की काफी फीस लगी थी सारा कुछ, अब $10,000 दे दें, उस $10,000 की मैं बाकी सारा कुछ मैं करूंगा. और वही हुआ कि मेरे इलेक्टिव्स जो थे, आई डिड 6 to 7 months of electives, you know, which was a lot. NIH, Johns Hopkins, UCSF, इन जगह में अब मेरे इतने स्ट्रॉन्ग कॉन्टेक्ट्स बने थे कि उन इलेक्टिव्स की बेसिस पे मुझे रिसर्च जॉब मिली, पेड फ्रॉम डे वन, स्टैनफोर्ड यूनिवर्सिटी, यूसीएलए में, हॉपकिंस में और हार्वर्ड में. और आई हैड द अपॉर्चुनिटी टू पिक कि ये मैंने करना है, लेकिन वो उसी $10,000 की इन्वेस्टमेंट थी जो 6 महीने के लिए मेरे पेरेंट्स ने मेरे इलेक्टिव्स पे लगाए थे कि आई वाज एबल टू डेवलप दोस कॉन्टैक्ट्स एंड मेक यू नो गुड इंप्रेशन. काम भी अच्छा किया, यू नो.
Yeah, I mean, I think to be honest, like I would say, agar main 10,000 mangti, I would not have. It's easier to give money to boys, I guess,
हाँ बिल्कुल, आई एग्री.
than girls. Yeah, it's yeah, it's one of that was another challenge. Okay, because you're asking for a lot. Even like the ticket is not cheap. Coming to US. दूसरा ये कि electives के लिए you're coming here, and it's not just the elective fee. Like you have to board and lodge too. Like you're basically working unpaid. Like you're not getting paid for the elective.
$500 से $1,000 per month आपका लगता है
Exactly,
जब
per
तक.
month लगता है. So that gets added. उसके बाद फिर exams की अलग fee, and then you're coming back for the interview. So it's actually a lot of money.
It is.
I mean that's a good idea to ask, like कि एक ही दफा मुझे दे दें and then I'll arrange. But I don't think so. If I would have asked for like all the money at one time, I would have got it.
You know, मेरे पेरेंट्स का सबसे बड़ा ये था कि रेडियोलॉजी क्यों कर रहे हो बेटा, सारी दुनिया मेडिसिन कर रही है, कोई रिसर्च करने की जरूरत नहीं है, इतने इलेक्टिव्स का नहीं है. उन्हें तो नहीं पता था, वो कहते बेटा मेडिसिन करो, 3 साल में फारग हो जाओगे, अटेंडिंग में. व्हाई डू यू नीड टू डू कि 2-2.5 साल रिसर्च करोगे, फिर मैच अप्लाई करोगे, फिर. लेकिन दैट ब्रिंग्स बैक टू द सेम थिंग दैट यू सेड कि दैट्स योर चॉइस, दैट्स व्हाट यू वांट टू डू, राइट? एंड आई एम सो ग्लैड दे हेल्प्ड मी एंड सपोर्टेड मी इन दैट. और मैं वही कहता हूं कि थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर हेल्पिंग मी आउट. वो जो आपकी $10,000 की इन्वेस्टमेंट थी ना, उसकी वजह से मैं आज यहाँ पहुंचा हूं.
Yeah. It's दूसरा ये कि खैर पाकिस्तान में इतनी अवेयरनेस भी नहीं है कि how things work here. That's another because even if you explain कि मैं ये चीजें इसलिए कर रही हूँ, it's just hard for them to understand कि यहाँ पे मतलब why do you need all of this. और दूसरा I personally खैर मेरी one of the reasons is कि मेरी family में there's no physician, so I think it's even harder to like make them understand. दूसरा आई थिंक कि उनके जहन में थोड़ी सी ये नोशन थी कि यहाँ पे there's like a people here don't become doctors, so they're like in such dire need of doctors कि even if you don't do anything, you just apply. If you just apply, they'll take you.
अच्छा.
So you don't need to do like any of the
That's what
extra
your family
stuff.
thought?
Yeah. That's what they think, and I was like that's not true at all. Not true at all.
अच्छा, मेरे भी था, मुझे हाँ अम्मी ने कहा था why do you need to do electives?
Yeah.
You know, why any of this? लेकिन हाँ, you're right. और you know, it's I don't know if you know this, my wife Rabia, she graduated from Hindered.
Oh, I
तो
didn't
you
know
know
that.
उनके काफी फैमिली के बहुत सेम इश्यूज थे, you know, same thing, and she's the only physician in her family. She had to convince her family exact same things. There was ignorance about the family. और दूसरा देखो, पाकिस्तान में अगर आप if you're like you know, like Faiza or my wife, कि you're the only physician in your entire family, चाहे लड़का हो चाहे लड़की, एक lack of awareness बहुत है. वो फैमिली समझती है बच्चा है बच्ची है उसका एमबीबीएस हो गया है, अब तो भाई क्लिनिक खुलेगा और हजारों आने लग पड़ेंगे, और या अमेरिका जाएगी तो डॉलरों की बारिश हो जाएगी. ऐसा नहीं होता, ये पूरा प्रोसेस है. आपके सामने फायजा है, उसको एमबीबीएस किए हुए 12 साल हो गए हैं, राइट? तो सॉरी 12 नहीं, 10-11 साल हो गए.
10-11 साल हो गए.
10-11 साल since you took the final year exams. तो अभी तक वो अटेंडिंग नहीं बनी. इंशाल्लाह she will eventually, and my wife will also become an attending. उसको भी 12 साल हो गए, she will become an attending this year. कि ये प्रोसेस बहुत लंबा है और इसमें ये सारे काम करने पड़ते हैं और बहुत सी मुश्किल है. खास तौर पे अगर आपने चाहे यूके जाना है, ऑस्ट्रेलिया जाना है, यूएस जाना है, कहीं भी जाना है, ये बहुत मुश्किल है और you need to make that financial and time investment and let your daughters grow, please.
Yeah, and I think ये lack of awareness it's a big deal. और दूसरा ये कि I guess back home one of the like it's like a I think in terms of like because my father is like obviously more dominant personality than my mom, so there is like a this sense ke I know because what would I know, I'm just I think parents के लिए बच्चे हमेशा बच्चे ही होते हैं, like even if you're telling them कि no this is how things should this is how things are, they still think like oh like I don't know anything.
मेरा ये होता था कि देखिए I respect your age and experience, but ज़रूरी नहीं ना कि एज या एक्सपीरियंस ज़्यादा होने से हमेशा हर चीज़ आपको ज़्यादा पता हो या बेहतर बता सको. I'm telling you, और that is the whole point of doing this videos के hopefully parents भी देखेंगे and they will understand कि जब आपके बच्चे आपको ये बातें बता रहे हैं, especially if they are the only physician in the family, तो बेचारे झूठ नहीं बोल रहे, वो पैसे उड़ाना नहीं चाह रहे, ये नहीं अमेरिका सैर करने के लिए जा रहे हैं.
Exactly. और दूसरा ये कि you're right. I remember when I got my residency contract, I was like going over it, and my father was like, "This is that's on." Because I think कितने residents बेचारे तो गरीब होते हैं. They have like $3,000 per month, and he was like, "बस इतनी सी pay दे रहे हो." And I was like, "This is just residency."
हाँ, मेरे पापा ने भी यही कहा. उन्होंने कहा मैं नहीं आना अगर $20,000 और नहीं देंगे. मैं क्या पापा that doesn't work like that. I cannot tell you then कि भाई मुझे रिसर्च में की जॉब दे रहे हो, पता नहीं 42,000 का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट था, आप मेरी जी 70-80 करोगे तो मैं आऊंगा. मैंने कहा मैं तो शुक्र कर रहा हूँ मुझे मिल रही है, लोगों को मिल है. तो सही है. Thanks for sharing that. अच्छा, moving on with the final next question is कि did you have any problems communicating in English? How were your communication skills beforehand before coming to US?
I think communication was fine. दूसरा ये कि yeah, I didn't have any problem in communication. It's just I didn't talk much, which is something I'm still working on, and I think people should work because here I think you need to be outspoken and like talk to people, especially for networking, networking. And that's still something I'm working on. Like even I've been here for like 12 plus years, not 12 plus years, 10 plus years, but still. Like networking is something like the Pakistan mein ye कि that's not something that you're taught. You know what I mean? Like KE में it's just like oh books
कहीं भी नहीं सिखाया जाता. ये सिर्फ MBA वालों को सिखाया जाता है. सच बताऊं, मैं MBA कर रहा हूँ and they stress on that. लेकिन कहीं भी ये नहीं बताया जाता कि networking कितनी important है.
हाँ, और दूसरा लेकिन फिर भी यहाँ पे I guess because we have medical students rotating, they know how to network much better than me, and I'm a fellow. But I think that's something maybe I didn't ask specifically, but that's something I think the medical schools and I think just by being here people learn. Lekin that's a very useful skill.
Sahi. So you didn't have any trouble switching to the American accent? शुरू में जब तू बिल्कुल भी नहीं. अच्छा, that's pretty impressive. जब हॉकिंस आई थी तो you don't have. मुझे लगता है कि at least it takes one person, I don't know, 1 to 3 months unless you're Pakistan में सुनते आ रहे हो videos और movies देखते आ रहे हो, you are pretty comfortable. लेकिन if you're not doing any of that, तो switching to the American accent, which is very different, so you have to say excuse me, I'm sorry, I didn't get it, or again it really depends कि पाकिस्तान की education कहाँ से, आप उर्दू मीडियम से आए हो, इंग्लिश मीडियम से आए हो, whatever it is, you have to be just confident, say whatever you want to say, don't.
I don't think so it's the accent that matters, it's just like how communicative you are.
Yes.
I mean I don't think so even the Americans care like what is your accent. They don't take that into account as long as you're communicating and getting your point across.
बिल्कुल, that is exactly what matters. जैसे जरूरी नहीं है कि you need to use the fancy vocabulary words, as you can use the simple words as long as you can convey your message across. That's all that matters. ठीक है, तो moving on, मुझे ये बताओ कि and I'm sorry to ask this question, लेकिन मैंने ना इतनी सारी वीडियोस बनाई सवाई इस resilience सीरीज के, जो कि apparently has been most watched, जो इतनी वीडियोस गाइडेंस की मैंने बनाई है, रेजिडेंसी रिसर्च सारे में, सबसे ज्यादा पता है कौन सी देखी गई? पैसे कितने बना लेते हो? तो I was like, people are all very interested. पहला चीज़ है कि पैसे कितने बना लेंगे अगर attending बन जाएंगे. तो so I'm going to ask you this: what is this nationwide salary range, minimum and maximum in your specialty, and what are the factors that impact it?
So I mean, nationwide as a like you're talking about Pulm Crit or medicine?
Pump rate.
So Pulm Crit you can make up to 800K.
Mm-hmm.
But those are mostly like private hospitals, and probably you're not going to see your family ever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the more you work, the more you're going to make. So it just depends. Like what you want. One of the reasons I wanted sleep medicine is because I can do extra clinic. I can see sleep patients, so I can bargain for less MICU or less ICU.
Same.
Especially, I think if you have family, that's something to think of. And I think eventually people do get burnt out if they're like doing like critical care persistently. I think the minimum is 250 that I have heard personally. Those are mostly like teaching hospitals. Those are base salaries though. I'm not talking about RVUs. So the base salary is about 220 to 250, but you make certain number of RVUs. The more ICU you do, the more ICUs the more RVUs you can make, depending on how much ICU you're doing. I think you can make a similar amount of money or close to it if you're working as a hospitalist. So in terms of
you think somebody can make 800,000?
No, not 800,000. 300 to 400. I'm just talking about like reasonable schedule for Pulm.
300 to starting mil raha hai
hospitalist. I know you can make it easily. That's what I'm saying. You can make it easily. One of my attendings, I know she does 100% outpatient. She doesn't do ICU or inpatient consults, and she gets paid. She's on a like lower end. I think she gets paid 220 or 220, and then she has some RVUs on top.
और आप जो भी कर लो ना, अगर आप अपना खुद कंपनी बनाते हो, LLC बनाते हो, या मतलब you have your own company, तो you make a lot more. लेकिन वो business हो जाता है, then you have to pay for your benefits and expenses. And if anybody is interested in learning more about के numbers for the hospitalist, तो जो पिछली वीडियो थी मेरी अली तारिक के साथ, मेरे भाई के साथ, उसमें we talk about that in a lot of depth. And I agree. I think average is close to between 450 to 550, or baki range is like what Faiza said was it kind of ranges
like 250 to 800.
250
yeah.
to 800.
So if you're doing like a regular, like you have a decent work-life balance, I think you can easily make 400K, 350 to 400.
Exactly. और जो factors that impact is academic versus non-academic. Academic में कम होती है, private hospitals non-academic, और big city versus rural areas in the middle of nowhere, वहाँ पे ज़्यादा होंगी. I can't think, or of course work hours or malignant lifestyle. Waiver अगर आपको चाहिए तो उसमें salary अमूमन कम होती है as compared to if you have a green card or citizenship, तो आपके पास ज़्यादा होती है. अच्छा, moving on. Last few questions. What has been the biggest challenge that you had to overcome throughout this journey?
The biggest challenge, I think, setting up everything when I came here. Without a car.
So who helped you?
My co-residents.
अच्छा, सही है.
क्योंकि एक तो दूसरा I think this is also an important point. People who have never been here, you come here with 0 credit score. Like you have no credit score at all. So everywhere you go, like if you're renting an apartment, या जहाँ पे भी जा रहे हैं, you have to like submit a handsome amount of deposit to even get anything, and that's like on top of like rent. The good thing about my program was they had a contract with a credit union, so they were able to give me like a credit card so that I can start building some credit history without any security deposit. I remember जब मेरे पास Bank of America का account था, and I went there and I was like, I need a credit card, and they gave me a $300 credit card. They were agreeable to give me a $300 credit card if I deposit $300, and I was like, but why would I do that? The same thing.
Thanks for saying that. Thanks for saying that. और मैं आप पे नहीं हंस रहा. Seriously, I'm not. What I'm laughing about is कि देखो, you guys are pretty lucky if you're listening to this video, क्योंकि मैंने हर चीज पे वीडियो बनाई है. Again, go and watch my video on credit score, credit cards, credit limit, credit history, and you will learn what Faiza is referring to. अगर आपके पास credit card नहीं है, credit history नहीं है, और उस पे जरूरी नहीं है कि आपके पास green card हो. जब आपको मिल गया ना EAD, तो सबसे पहला काम करो कि जो उसने $300 देके क्रेडिट कार्ड खुलवाया ना, वो खुलवाओ. Again, I don't want to talk about the same stuff. वो क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री, क्रेडिट लिमिट वाली वीडियो सुन लेना, आपको समझ आ जाएगी क्रेडिट किस चिड़िया का नाम है और वो क्यों इतना इंपॉर्टेंट है. And it is that important that Faiza says that has been her biggest challenge to overcome throughout this
Yeah,
journey.
the problem is कि मुझे इस चीज का नहीं पता था, and I came here with a limited amount of money.
कितने पैसे थे?
So I actually just came here with $2,000. और उसमें ये था कि I had to get an apartment. तो दूसरा ये कि जो apartment, even the 1-bedroom apartment that I was looking at, it was $800 per month, and that's not like a super fancy apartment. It was like a decent apartment. But I had to give them a month rent. And
First or last month? Or deposit?
Deposit. Like, so 800 rent and then 800 security deposit, because I didn't have a
first and
credit.
last month
Because I didn't have a credit score. So like from 2000, like 1600 already chale gaye, and then I had no furniture. So I had to like arrange that. और दूसरा मेरे पास गाड़ी भी नहीं थी. So, and plus like the other thing is like my visa came late. So I was already 3 weeks late when I joined. Residency had started. So you're trying to set up everything. बाकी जो थे वो 2-3 हफ्ते पहले आ गए थे. They set up everything and they hit the ground running. I'm like trying to figure out how to set everything up. Everywhere I go, they ask me for like the same amount of security deposit. कि अगर मुझे इतने पैसे चाहिए तो मैं उतना security deposit जमा कराऊं. And like if I'm calling home saying कि like I don't have money, they think कि मैंने ज़ाया कर दिए हैं. But I was telling them, पहले हफ्ते में खत्म हो गया. And I was telling them कि मुझे security deposit जमा कराना पड़े, तो कहते हैं उनसे कहो कि मैं security deposit जमा नहीं करा रही.
You know, that sounds so much like my dad. मेरे को भी इस तरह नहीं, उन्होंने कहा इंजीनियर हो सकता. मैं क्या पापा इस तरह नहीं होता. लेकिन देखो, पता है क्या? It's funny that you bring it up. Do you know what's the way around it, or you don't?
No, I don't know what the way around
So
it.
the way around it is कि अगर आप किसी सीनियर को जानते हो, क्लासमेट है या कोई रिलेटिव है, कोई भी, तो you ask them to co-sign your applications. तो वो क्रेडिट कार्ड आप उन्हें कहते हो कि मुझे अपने क्रेडिट कार्ड पे ऐड कर दें, एक $100 का क्रेडिट कार्ड दें और अपने पास ही रख लें, पर मेरे नाम का हो. उससे मेरी हिस्ट्री बन जाएगी. उससे बस $1 की कोई सब्सक्रिप्शन लगा दें या एक दफा पेट्रोल भरवा लिया करें महीने में, उसको पे ऑफ कर दें, आपके पास है मेरे नाम का, उससे क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री बनती है. दूसरा ये कि आप किसी को को साइन करने के लिए कह दो. आई हैव पर्सनली साइंड co-signed for a lot of people I knew, like people like you and Aves, you know, जिनको मैं जानता था पहले से, उन्होंने कहा उमर भाई साइन कर दें, तो I just co-signed because I had a credit history. उसकी वजह से they were able to get these apartments without like all the issues you
Problems
said. और ये सारी चीजें again I will say please credit history, credit limit वाली वीडियो देख लेना, उसमें समझ आ जाएगी.
उसमें ये कि like then like I had a few relatives here. But eventually I reached out to them. एक तो ये था कि none of them were in Pittsburgh. Like
they don't have to.
Yeah,
they don't have to be.
I'm just saying like it was not it's not like
easy for
drive
you,
easy for me to like get the application to them or they can come by. Plus like I mean they have kids, they have lives too. I can't expect them कि जब मैं कहूँ वो like 4 घंटे की drive करके आ रहे हैं मेरे पास.
नहीं, उस पे you email, you scan the contract and an email. That's what I've done.
Yeah. Anyway, so they were able to help out initially.
Good.
So, but I think it was just I know, but it was stressful.
सही है.
The first 2-3 weeks were very stressful.
तो उसके बाद जो पहला पेचेक होता है ना, वो सबसे अच्छा होता है. वो पिछले सारे पैसे आप उतारते हैं उनसे. चलो, if you have to do this all over again, what would be the few things you will do differently?
I think research of like what I'm getting into. That's something I actually didn't do. If I can reach out, और दूसरा ये कि if I can foresee problems, जिस तरह मैं जब यहाँ पे आई थी, I didn't know कि ये the credit history. But I think right now it's more awareness. So I think लोगों को कुछ idea है, लेकिन जब मैं आई थी I didn't know. But I think लेकिन उसमें ये कि I'm not sure what the way around is now. Like you guys have taken this initiative, and that's why I wanted to talk too, because I mean these are legit problems, and people don't know about them. उसमें ये कि like awareness is very important. If I had known like half of the things I knew like within the first year, I think the transition would have been so much smoother.
सही. और लास्ट क्वेश्चन मेरा ये है कि एनी एडवाइस फॉर पीपल इन योर शूज जो फाइनल ईयर में, यानी अभी मेडिकल स्कूल में, एंड दे वांट टू डू यूएसएमएल, खास तौर पे लड़की हो, एनी एडवाइस फॉर देम?
I mean, I would actually encourage them to do it.
सही है.
I think people at least मेरा experience तो ये रहा है कि अगर मैं interview देने भी जाती थी तो people respect this fact कि I'm a female, क्योंकि people और change the perception कि पाकिस्तान से जो पाकिस्तान में लड़कियों को आगे नहीं बढ़ने देते. I remember कि मैं जब interview के लिए जा रही थी, interview के लिए नहीं, I was boarding my flight for US and they were actually stopping people from Pakistan for that like they take them for questioning.
Secondary check मेरा हमेशा होता था, हमेशा होता था.
Secondary check. The guy actually said, I am so happy to see a girl from Pakistan go for residency. And like he said nice things for like 2 minutes. And then he was like, go ma'am, please, like, let me know if I can help you.
See, that's what it is, breaking shackles and changing perceptions, you know?
Because he didn't think Pakistanis would allow a girl to go and do residency. Which is sad. But I mean, that's not. Yeah.
Like, and I think it's good that things are changing and improving, right? And I'm so glad. I'm so glad and extremely thankful to you, Faiza, for coming forward and doing this interview. Like I said, कि मैंने बहुत लड़कियों को बोला, कुछ ज़्यादातर ने मना किया है, जिन्होंने yes किया, उन्होंने आखिरी time पे, you know, इसीलिए I sent you that text के हो रहा है ना.
I mean, yesterday, I mean, I could have made it yesterday too, but it was just going to cut very close. Yeah. So,
you know, but what matters is that, you know, I really appreciate, dekho, ghanta, 1.5 ghanta you gave this, and it's not for me, it's not for you, it's just with this pure intention, pure noble intention कि जो आने वाले juniors हैं, खास तौर पे लड़कियां हैं, वो इस पूरी talk से कुछ सीखें, समझें, and hopefully don't do the same mistakes that Faiza did, that I did, and all the other females do. You know, कोई भी general applicants लड़कियां हो, लेकिन खास तौर पे this interview I think was more for with the focus
and
of females.
I'm like always happy to help. I can actually send you my email address if like a girl wants some information about like USMLEs or what
description
can they
में
do.
डाल दूं मैं? You're okay with that?
Yeah, that's
ठीक है,
fine.
मुझे भेज देना. तो I will put her email address in description if anybody wants to reach out to her. And again, Faiza, thank you so very much for this interview.
Problem.
And I really respect and commend that. You know, whenever anybody comes, and I know it is extremely tough as a female because, you know, you're open to judgment, you're making yourself vulnerable, and, you know, sharing all your struggles, and people have opinions. But I really, really appreciate. Do you want to add anything before we conclude this?
No, and the one thing I would just again encouragement for the girls, I really feel I was in your shoes. It's doable. And if you now, I mean, there's more guidance. So don't be afraid or shy to reach out if you need help or if you have any questions. Pre-planning is going to help you the most.
Good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Chalo, thanks a lot for doing this. And I hope you all found this video helpful. If you did, please like it, share the channel with others, subscribe agar nahi kiya hua pehle. Ring on the notification bell ताकि अगला interview हो तो आपको पता लगे. And like I always say, always work hard, never give up, and never lose hope. Bye.
All right, thank you. Bye. I love